poet, national champion of persuasive speaking, and a person who thinks a lot. Just
We are
generally speaking.
finally live. What up, people?
Hey.
Sorry, y'all 15 minutes late. I fucked up. I didn't. It's
But he
technology.
didn't. Shit happens.
Yes, life.
Smart devices in a dumb world.
We all know how dumb as shit. Okay, keep going.
So anyway, yeah, I think I just introduced myself. I'm literally not about to repeat all that. My name is Natural. It's an awesome experience to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Word.
Dopeness abounds. Let's do it, right?
Boom. All right. With that being said, Miss Natural, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Emo Night of Media.
Bippy and bullshit. Bippy and bullshit.
Say word. Salute us till they shoot us. NG way.
Am I allowed to do this on camera?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
This is the Do What You Like a podcast.
No, it isn't. I'm asking questions because it's been made very clear to me.
There's only one rule: you can't say the N-word.
That's not the only rule.
That's the only rule.
That's not the only rule. I have to wait my turn. I have to.
We just have to get the intro. We have to get like.
So our first
Now he
shot
gonna
of the night.
rationalize the rules. He's like,
First shot of the night.
it's only one rule.
We got this Libra Gemini Taurus thing going on.
Is that really what's happening right now?
Yeah.
I think that's what it
You a
is.
Gemini?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Put it up top.
Okay, that might. Okay, all right. Race relations just got that.
Okay. First time we go tonight, and then we're gonna jump into these rules and regulations. There's how you sum up. First shot of the night. There's been a lot of posting going on about a hot girl summer, city boys, and what we are planning on doing with our summer. And we keeping score with this bullshit. So my question and Bippy and Bullshit's question is:
Shot of the night.
first shot of the night goes to what the fuck is the score on the city girls and hot boys, and do anybody give a shit? Cheers.
Cheers.
Rules.
Mm-hmm.
It's rules to this shit. Wrote me a manual. So what? Who starts talking first?
Oh, you just did.
That's what's up. Okay, so for the larger answer, I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
That's the first foremost answer.
Okay.
But I believe that I kind of know where y'all going with the shit.
I want some context first.
And I need to
Let's
be responding to
educate
shit.
them first.
All right. There's a series of posts going on right now. First off, it came off. There's a list of what hot girls are supposed to do this summer.
Mhm.
Have dinner with a girlfriend, travel more, things to that nature.
Right.
But the Tatianas of the city girl, hot girl world have made it about a whole bunch of other shit. They taking people's man all summer long. They drinking Hennessy, having unprotected sex, and taking Plan Bs all summer long. I saw a meme last night, and I did have to laugh because I thought it wasn't a meme. It was a post somebody put, and they tagged someone in it, and it said, I want to fuck all night long like I'm making a baby, and then I want to visit Walmart in the morning. At blah, 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 are you down? And all I can do is go, what the fuck are you doing?
Shit's funny.
Because,
I'm sorry.
and this is the thing. Yes, we had wild out summers coming up. We cannot sit here and be the old people, and I'm guilty. I'm guilty because I started to be the old person and say, you little young trifling nasty heifers and ninja boys, shame on you. And then I remember Freaknik.
Listen, I went to the very last one and the one before that, so I was going to bring that up as a topic. This is okay? This is not. First of all, this is not new. What's new is the technology. What's new is the ability to make it 100% public. That this is what you're doing with your life at any given time. But like this youth shit, like that's something that we tend to encounter a lot. The older we get, we start to sound like our elders and the elders before them, etc. Back in my day, this, that, and the third. The I'll take your man reference in and of itself is absurd because that is a Salt and Pepper song. That's not, they may have thrown their own lyrics to it, but the chorus, everything, that's a Salt and Pepper cut.
Word.
And so taking people's man, that was a thing to do even back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Sure,
it's not
Shirley Murdoch made the song as we like.
okay.
Husband. I mean,
Right. Me and Mrs. Jones. Hello. Men be doing that too, right?
Your body's here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. That type of shit. But what I'm saying is, I was going to be old. And I was going to be the crotchety, in my day, we wasn't the... But then I thought...
Get off my lawn.
But then I thought I went to the block party. and I wore the t-shirts. I ain't wear the ass out t-shirts with the naked porn scenes on them because I do got a mama, and I couldn't take that home to my mama. And she, by chance, one day catch me in that shirt. That's too much explaining to do.
Not that I wouldn't do it, but my mother might see it.
And that, and that's truly the gist of it. But is it now because we have such a easy information and access age that it just seems
Over the top?
way over the top?
Listen, I hear what we're talking about, the city girls, right? We haven't really like waged any sort of verbal, assault on the city hot boys.
No,
out
they
here.
both doing the same thing.
And but I digress. If we want to once again look at the inspiration that we brought to the influence that our generation brought to the table, I'm gonna take it back to Snoop Dogg, specifically the album Doggy Style.
Okay.
In which you have men referring to having other men suck they things on a regular basis. Every female is a when I met you last night, baby type situation. That is all tricks and hoes and ain't, tricks and hoes ain't shit. I mean, ultimately, this is what is going to come from that. And that was not an uncommon type of music to hear, played both on the radio, video stations, as well as just chilling in our cribs, riding around in cars. This is an influence that we brought to the table. Our generation has to take responsibility, which is the only reason I don't feel right being like, well, when we were younger, bullshit. When we were younger, we were doing all the hotness as well. There's just it seems like it's on a larger scale because technologically speaking, we have access to everything. Yes, we have access to everything at all times from every place,
I mean, I agree. But then I got to take it a step further. Yeah, we weren't the first person talking about bitches and hoes. Let's not.
Our generation?
Yes.
Oh, hands down. We were the ones that popularized the decimation of both black men and women.
No. You ever seen Dolomite?
I'm not talking about movies and film.
Okay, we're talking about music and music.
Well, yeah, but even when you watch
we couldn't say bitches and they didn't say bitches and hoes on the radio, but
you saw dudes slapping them around in the movie. I get
but
what you're saying.
But even in the music, we even talked about being
not in Dolomite music. You didn't. You not in Shaft music. You didn't.
But
you didn't hear talking about hoes and bitches on the corner.
But you're not. But you're not listening to what I'm saying. No, we didn't. We didn't have the vulgarity in the lyrics. But songs like "I Choose You" by Willie Hutch, they're talking about
all Saturday morning blues songs.
We're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, right. But what I'm talking about is very specifically the harshness of what it is you talk about that these challenges are presenting. It's not just the fact that they're being sexual, it's that they're being aggressively sexual, it's that they're being overtly sexual, and also that sexualization is like that's all that you hear in the mainstream now, particularly from female artists.
Okay, well, see, that's something else we can go back to because that's the only thing that sells now, and that's even on TV. You can't even get a basic TV show without some kind of sex.
You remember Chappelle's show when that dude was talking about motherfucker saying skeet on the radio, and he was saying, one day some white executive is going to look up and say, "Oh my God, what have we done?" The reality is that the language wasn't allowed back then. The context was there, sure, but now we're talking about a level of vulgarity, which is why we're having this conversation altogether. If that wasn't
4 people chime in, keep going.
If that wasn't it, then we wouldn't be having the conversation because as we are all acknowledging, the shit has always existed on some level. It's just now it's very literal. It's very, but I feel like
what I think it is now.
I feel like that literalness actually landed with our generation, our generation, the artists that we loved and still love, supported and still support. Those that even look up now and say, I can't imagine why I gotta have a daughter.
Every generation is responsible.
And I understand what you're saying.
They're not all responsible back then.
But our generation is responsible for
now
the cussing, being
the vulgarity. Not the profanity, the vulgarity.
No, because I remember as a kid listening to party records.
Come on, man. Nobody ever said suck my dick. He can eat a big fat dick.
Richard Pryor.
Okay, so you're still you're talking about a completely different.
No, but we're not. We're talking about the same things. We're talking about the same things. We're talking about party records from Red Fox. We're talking about party records from Richard Pryor, Moms Mabley, that spoke of these things. Richard Pryor was the first I ever heard talk about pimps and hoes.
Okay.
sucking my dick. This bitch can do this, and this. I never heard that language until I heard a party record.
Okay.
But when I listen to, like you said, your Saturday morning blues songs,
Mm-hmm.
"Love Me with a Feeling"
Yes.
by Clarence Carter,
Yes.
those are things.
And I've been stroking.
Right, but you're not, and this is what we're saying.
Stroking to the left.
Right,
Listen,
we're not talking about the vulgarity. We're talking about the seed that was implanted. When I heard stroking, I didn't know what he was talking about until I would look like, oh, he talking about fucking.
Yeah, no.
Cool.
No.
So he talking about stroke. Love me with a feeling. Like, what, she gonna give him a hug? She placed one leg upside the wall.
I'm glad that you had such a naive up and comings. However,
I'm sorry. My bad. I was raised in the copy.
I literally said I'm glad that you had such a naive up and comings. It's not a fucking sarcasm, I promise. What I mean is, when we're bringing the city girls and the hot boys challenge to the table, right? Mm-hmm. We're not doing that because it's the same as what Clarence Carter did. We're talking very specifically about how the content is now put out there and contextualized and grabbed a hold.
Absolutely.
Let me reel in, because I think we're both saying that the generation previously is responsible for the current generation now. I think the question is it worse off now? Is hoeing at an all-time high now?
No.
Or has it all been the same?
It's more acceptable now.
Hoes used to make money.
Acceptable
now.
Hoes don't make money now.
What's our definition of more?
More accessible?
This is the thing.
Accessible, of course, because
everybody tries to one up in the last generation, and that's what we really got to look at. Like where we looked at Clarence Carter and the blues. We were allowed to say fucking shit on the radio. So we're going to talk about fucking shit. We're going to talk about fucking some shit. We're going to talk about fuck this bitch, fuck this ninja, fuck this. Damn.
Sensei. Wow. Was that on TV?
Mr. Miyagi.
Sensei.
Could you please be careful squishing the flies.
Sensei.
But now it's like, it's crazy. Like to watch it.
I still think the reason that is because of the advance in technology.
It's they're trying to beat us. They're trying to one up.
They don't even have to try. The shit just exists as it exists. And you and I all grew up in an era where we went from watching there be like rotary dial telephones,
VCR,
the first camcorder
on HBO was jacked
that was material. Of course,
we all agree.
We've watched that progress from a circumstance of being less accessible to being readily accessible.
Okay.
And so I do think that accessibility does create some of what you guys seem to perceive to be like the vast raunchiness of it, the very deep harshness of it, the aggressive nature of the sexuality.
Okay.
I'm just not gonna. I can't. My life experience says that this type of thing has indeed always existed. The opportunity, the ability, and the accessibility to it is what changes things. That for me is what, and that too is our generation's doing much more than it is our parents.
We done with that.
But much more.
Is the city girls hoeing at an all-time high?
No.
Bullshit.
The visibility of city girl hoeing is at an all-time high. No, I'm sorry. I went to Scott High School, baby. Not fucking St. Francis.
Shit.
I'm sorry. Bulldogs for life.
We ain't go to high school.
I went to Scott.
I've been living a leisure.
And I'm going to say this. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what high school you went to. We can only speak on our experiences.
Right.
Because what I've learned is the white people's schools did it way harder than us.
I did both though.
He
knows that. I did both. I'm from Iowa, son.
They had the better.
Iowa, son.
They had better music. We might have had better music in pep rallies.
No, it's not the same. I swear on everything. I literally came.
Their drugs were better.
No.
Their parties were better.
No.
And they were not. The first time I ever seen a threesome was at a white party.
Okay.
And I'm like,
that was your experience. And
right.
That I'm just saying is you've talked to a lot of girls that went to Scott and they're going to probably say the first time they seen it was at a black party. So at the end of the day, it's like, that doesn't, to me, it doesn't change the fact that this hot ass shit was going on when I was in school, in white schools and black schools.
We're not debating that.
Now,
I am.
It's going on.
We don't have time.
But you went to school with all boys. So
but
we're not debating that it happened. It did. But what we're looking at.
I just know what I'm saying is it the same? That's the question you asked, right? It's like, is it worse now? And I don't necessarily think it's worse. I think what's worse or what's stronger or heavier
is the visibility.
Yep, there it is.
I think it's more people being fast and there's more people being selective.
Because that same responsibility.
I think it's more people doing those things to fit in.
Let's use responsibility. Because we are responsible for, through whatever means, whether it was the crack epidemic, whether it was granny raising a baby, then it turned to the TVs raising a baby. There is a bigger population of city boys and city girls doing bad shit. Yes, it's the same bad shit that they've always done, now more than ever. This is end times type bad shit, is the way I look at it.
Every generation says that.
And my
Literally.
explanation
I
is
think it's just more people out here doing fucked up shit than good shit.
that same
I won't disagree with
that
that.
same access
That is
is
something.
And that's
well,
the
that's
point
the
that
point though.
that's the point I'm
No,
trying
but
to make.
I
Like,
feel you on that, but
it's more
I
fucked
think
up
we're-
shit going on that
I
we.
think we're not necessarily equating the same things as fucked up shit. And also, what I will say is that in my grandparents' generation, in my parents' generation, human kindness was still a consideration.
Mhm.
Human connectivity was still it was a consideration.
Mhm.
Like people
not
don't
hit
do
like
they
and fuck
don't
for
do
40.
this shit right now.
Right.
Like literally, they do not get face to face. They don't fucking sit down and connect with one another, and they share their lives via social media and social networking and all that shit in a way that didn't take place in the past, obviously.
More.
But what it does is it kind of dissolves the notion of being able to genuinely connect with human beings. And if we're having the human connection, what you're going to find years from now, just like us, these girls and boys that are out here doing these challenges and shit, they're gonna the reaper, the fucking piper comes for them too. Chickens come home to roost. It doesn't make any difference. They're just not going to be as prepared to reconcile because of the choices that they made that one day are going to lend to them being unemployable or
But
There's more of them now.
unmarriable.
But do
or
you think
I
that?
don't.
But do you think
There's
that
more
because of
people.
the generation that they give in, because of those factors that you just spoke of, they're not gonna give a fuck?
9 times out of 10, we encountered people, high school and junior high school circumstances, who only cared about fitting in.
Mm-hmm.
That if they were a pariah, it was the hardest, worstest, most fucked up shit they could ever imagine to encounter in that environment. And some of them, maybe not as many as now, made choices that they later, I included, later come back to say, I wish I hadn't done that, regardless of the fact that the shit I did is like of no comparison
Is
to
it
what the
more
hell
of
is.
them now that's not saying I wish I hadn't done that?
Well, they're kids. You got to give them time to fucking get grown
They're-
and cook
they're-
and mature
I
and get to a
believe-
point where they understand the consequences for their actions,
I
which is
believe
the part of the
now
brain that doesn't
with
even develop until you're like 26 years old.
what I'm
So-
believing right now is
Mhm.
because of the actions that they're doing. What I was trying to get across is there are going to be more people who wake up and say,
I hope so.
"Holy fucking shit!
What the hell did I do?
What the fuck?" There are multiple
Don't you think
videos.
Snooki feels that way? But then
Um,
when you have women like Kim Kardashian, whose whole family blew up off of her blow up, which was a blow up directly as a result of sucking Ray J's dick on a
You should have
videotape.
said blowjob. That would have been the perfect time to say
Blow job,
blow
blow
up
up,
from a
blow it to
blow
blow job.
job.
Thank you for being clever for me. I appreciate
Yeah.
that, sweet. My bad for not catching that one.
yes.
But the whole of the family blew up from her blowing up as a
okay,
result of giving him a blow job.
but here's the thing about
And
that. Here's the
there's
thing about
no
that.
shame.
Here's the thing about that though. Every dick that they suck is not gonna be a Ray J dick, and you're not gonna be a
Who
Kardashian.
cares? That Ray J didn't blow up.
But here's the thing. She did.
Yes.
And there's a million girls out there right now
But
with the
you
hopes
know-
of being of a Kardashian.
The why, that's why most of them won't be Kardashians. You're talking about a business mogul in the family already who understood the nature of turning
Okay,
that fuck
but
up into a blow up.
At 18
But-
years old,
but-
these kids don't get it. But they think if they put it on social
We
media,
can't get specific and talk about the Kardashian Ray J family and then
No.
compare it to, because
What-
we're
what-
talking in general.
and what my general is,
In general,
what I'm saying is
all
this.
the city girls, all the city boys. The
they're
question,
they're doing this shit because they see it on a video and they think it's cool. And there's not enough kids
just
right
like
now.
we did shit because we saw it.
But
on
there was
videos
a
and
but
thought it
when
was
I
cool.
saw it on the video, there was a part of me that said, "Don't do this," because at the end of the day, this is not going to be a good look.
Right?
They
but
don't have the good look button. They look at it
in
and say,
our era
okay.
of growing up, we watched movies that were supposed to be representative of realities that were happening in parts of our country that may not have been Toledo, fucking Ohio.
what about the good look button?
All I'm saying is that there was a Boys in the Hood and a Menace to Society and a Colors and all that fucking shit, and I'm about it. These are from all different regions, but these are supposed to be these people's genuine life stories, like why and how. And this is not a circumstance of people seeing it on the movie and saying, "I'm not going to do that." I never had anyone killed from fucking gun violence until I moved to Toledo, Ohio. And you know how it was when we were going to school. Like 13 motherfuckers in between my junior and senior year murdered by gun violence. Two of them, yes, were fucking Russian roulette and suicide situations. That you know who I'm talking about.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, you and I connected under a circumstance of somebody getting shot outside of Bourbon Street. It's really, really wild to sit back and suggest that it's so much bigger and broader now that people are looking at movies or videos and saying, that's cool, I'll do that. That they have access to more videos might be true. That might create more of a weight, like
Less supportive upbringing may be
more
true.
people
But that's the
that are
thing.
doing
We're
what you're
saying
saying.
more.
Yes,
It
I
sounds
think we're
like
all
you're saying the same.
more
Things are the
technology,
same.
more accessibility is going to create more people doing that shit. Obviously, there are also more people on top of there being more people doing that shit. You know, it's the more is going to be the
Okay,
common.
I don't know if it's the alcohol. But it sounds like we are definitely on the same street.
Yeah.
But you are just what I'm asking you.
Sure.
I mean, break it down in brass tacks.
Brass tacks. Let's do it. Wait, I'm the only one with something in my glass.
It's not time to drink. We have rules here.
Nobody else has drinks, so how can that not
Lies.
be the case?
By the invention of cell phones,
Mhm.
the easy access to videos, anybody can be an internet star with a video and enough likes.
Mm-hmm.
And how influential to fit in is. It's at an all-time high.
Go ahead. I'm looking for my people. The era has no empathy and they're desensitized.
Absolutely.
That's also the technology's fault.
But we have all these things.
Yes.
You don't think that it's creating a bigger monster than when it created out of us?
I'm
Yeah,
not-
we had the same
I'm
things.
not suggesting that.
But-
That's not my answer to that is no. That isn't what I think.
Okay.
What I think is the monster, even if whether it's bigger or not, okay? Because I don't, from my personal experience, I feel like things are the same. They're just more visible. But I could also understand someone else having a different personal experience and thus feeling like the monster is bigger. What I know is that if the monster is bigger, it is definitely a direct result of accessibility to growing said monster. And there still has to be.
But this
and
is what I tried to ask you about.
Okay.
The monster's growing because they get to see all this shit. The monster gets to grow because tonight I can go post a video of me punching the dude in the face. It's the knockout challenge. Go try it tomorrow. And there's going to be some dumbass kid in some part of America that says, oh, that was kind of cool. I'm going to go try that.
Right.
And then
when my son's father was in college at BG, he had a friend whom I will not name, but they had this game called Pick One. And they would go to the bars and dude would be like, hey, yo, pick one. And they'd be like, okay, him. And this cat would walk up and knock them out. So that is like.
So that would have been a challenge back then.
So more people.
And then it would have went viral.
One was the challenge. And
but it would have went viral.
Yes, it would have.
Because they had video cameras. Right. Just like there's a cucumber challenge right now.
Right. Oh.
See what I mean? You see what I mean? We weren't doing a cucumber challenge.
It sounds to me.
We didn't have that.
Okay, you don't know if we had. First of all, we didn't call them challenges.
Did you do a cucumber challenge?
I'm not going to answer that.
I would like for us.
And on that note,
I would like for us.
I'm not going to answer that on camera. Did you do a cucumber
I
challenge?
would look like for us to identify our agreements, identify our disagreements on city girls, city boys. Is it more or less? Is it old? Is it new? Is it hereditary? And then we're going to move on.
Okay. My stance is that we all agree that there's a huge monster and that we simply have different perceptions or understandings, reasons, logics, beliefs as to why that monster exists or whether or not it is bigger today than it was back then.
I feel that although every individual will have their individual take through their own experiences, that my view on the world is that it is more fucked up now than it was. Although the causes may be the same, the responsibility is on the gender before them. I have not seen more access. I have not seen more birth control. I have not seen tilapia. I've never seen tilapia. My resting heavy Jesse B ain't never put no tilapia on the table.
Nope.
So all those things for me, they come off as more. There are more diseases. There are more holes, male and female. There are more. There's more ease. A like, a share, and maybe $40.
Your fly's still alive.
There was a time where there were only maybe two or three girls that did oral when we were coming up.
Oh.
Or maybe I didn't know about them, says our guest. But we don't have time for that. This is my take. Mr. Moy gonna give his. Coke room film booty was made your day.
The monster is bigger. The monster is badder. Yes, we are the seed that became the poisonous fruit that is today. Our music is sexual. Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Lick on the nuts and suck the dick.
I'm gonna try that. Is that challenge?
That was the lyric. But we took that as the one up. These kids now are one upping us. They are one upping what they've seen. We didn't look at the time of partying and bullshit that we participated in. We didn't look at the backlash. And I think it's on people like us to give the warnings of what's coming because they don't see it. They don't see videos of them trying to be the next Tiana Trump, Kim Kardashian, Quavo, or what's the one delayed kid's name? Kodak Black.
Damn, I was about to buzz in.
They don't see those pitfalls. They want to be the next. And nobody has taught them that because it took us to get to the finish line to find out being the first you is better than being the next anybody.
That's just a part of maturing, though.
But we have to warn them before it's too late.
No, I'm not saying we don't warn them, but
And right now we're not
can't
warning
stop
them.
them. Oh, who's not warning them? Every older person, just like you, is sitting back saying, "In my day."
I'm not saying in my day because I can admit to some of the shit that I've contributed to this lifestyle.
Listen, a cucumber challenge.
Fuck no, I'm a man. Fuck.
Oh, he said I'm a man. All I'm saying is this, if I may. Is that okay? All right. All I'm saying is this. I think that the accessibility is what creates the monster. Bigger, smaller, whatever.
There's no such thing as smaller monsters.
Okay. Bigger monster,
Thank you.
monster, whatever monster is defined as can be a monster. I just think that we recognize and see it more now than we saw it in our day. And I am sincerely basing that both on my own personal experiences and the experiences of those around us. But I do feel like the responsibility thing for me is the big deal, just in that it makes it so that we try to connect with the younger generation, not create disparity between us, not ostracize them for exercising in their youth, even if they're doing it foolishly. Every generation says that about the generation under them, that they are foolishly exercising their youth. And the only thing that it does is create a disconnect between our wisdom and their
Wait a minute, how long? So it's okay to say, baby girl, I saw the video of you sucking fire dick for last night. I'm not gonna dog you for
You
it.
sound ridiculous. You know that's not
do
what
I?
I'm saying.
Do
know
I?
that you know that's not what I'm saying.
I'm
You know that's not what I'm saying. Any more than someone would have said that to me in my generation, or someone would have said it to someone in the generation before that. The fact that a girl can be seen sucking 5 dicks on video is exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't mean it didn't happen when I was in high school. It doesn't mean it didn't. It did. For me, no. But for girls that I know, absolutely. For dudes that I know, abso-fucking-lutely. Yes, it happens. And so ultimately what I'm saying is that I think it's our responsibility in understanding, one, that we also had a youth. Like you said, you ain't even trying to admit to some of the shit you did. We all have an experience.
Whoa. Transparency is key. I don't lie about nothing I've done.
I'm sorry, you haven't mentioned a single thing you have done and no one's asking you to. What I'm saying is, if transparency is key for you, It also has to be key for little Keisha, who's sucking 5 dicks on a fucking video camera. She has no understanding of the consequences. Does that mean there will be none? No, of course it doesn't. At some point in time, it's going to come back to bite her all up in her ass that she chose to suck 5 dicks on camera.
But it was 5 little Keishas in '96. Now it's 25.
How
in
you know how many little
2019.
Keishas there is because you didn't get your dick sucked? I'm telling you, I knew more than 5 Keishas when I was in high school. I knew more than 5 Keishas when I was in junior high school, and most of them names were Becky and Heather, and Kristen and Lisa.
They were.
Look, yeah, you like there was more than 5 Beckys. I'm just saying, yo.
No, I didn't know more than 5, but
but you understand what I'm saying.
Their names weren't just Keisha.
Right.
There were some Ambers.
There was some Ambers.
Respect the gavel.
Okay.
Damn.
How much? What we looking like on time?
We're
While he looks on time, we 30 on time. We got 5 participants and we got 1 person participating.
That's where we
at. Oh, is it time?
Say hi.
Hi.
Hit y'all button.
All right.
I was talking to them.
Let's roll. Where are we at now?
Where you want to go? We got a shot pour. We can reclaim some time.
Yeah, let's be fun. You've been on this all day.
I want to reclaim my time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to reclaim my time.
Oh, what is reclaiming my time?
We about to see. Well, Stephen Royal wants to reclaim his time, so we're gonna take a shot
to reclaiming time.
To reclaiming our time. Cheers.
Second shot of the night. If you didn't get it, I want my time back.
Switch.
Oh, did you? You know what? You
Switch.
Like to get somewhere. Hang on. It's happening. It's happening.
Yes. Did anybody say hi yet? There we go. Hey. Hope y'all enjoying. We appreciate y'all staying up late.
Yeah.
I think, some early birds in there. Got to punch that clock in the morning. So, upon building episode 80, I approached Mr. Emo about the topic of reclaiming my time. Now, that is something that was made famous by Maxine Waters. She was giving a speech, I believe, on the Senate floor, House floor. She was getting rudely interrupted. And she said, "Chairman, I want to reclaim my time." And every time he talked, he said, reclaiming my time. And Auntie Maxine is obviously for the culture. Got to protect TT Maxine. But I wanted to apply it in life because it's only 24 hours in a day. And as we all sat down here before the show, we all going through some shit. Who don't go through some shit? We talked about that on episode 10, 20, 30, 41, 52, 75. Right? So how do we better manage and reclaim our time and be okay with having that time distributed how you want? It's yours. We was talking about mortality, but we didn't want to get that deep. Obviously, we have eclipsed some anniversaries, I guess you want to call it, or some loved ones that passed way too soon. But the moral of the story was life is too short. And you should not be upset if you don't have time to go to the gym, if you don't have time to make that call, if you don't have time to drop off that hot plate. I want y'all to start reclaiming your time. I want y'all to seriously think about putting some order to the only thing you really own is your motherfucking time. Don't get guilted into sharing your time. The only obligation of your time is the time that you want to save for yourself. Right? You give 8, 10, 12, 16 hours. So your direct deposit a hit. Normal people get 8 hours of sleep. You steal from that. You pinch a little bit out of that bucket. Ninjas got to eat. Right? Oh, and don't let you have no responsibilities. Don't let you have them things called children's. Right?
Yeah.
I want to find a word other than selfish about reclaiming your time.
But why can't you find a word of selfish?
I want a word bigger than selfish. What word is that?
Selfless.
They hear that? I think they heard that.
I heard it.
Okay, you heard it.
Definitely heard
They
it.
can rewind it, turn it up, play it again.
Bring it back one time,
Bring
DJ
it back one
Selecta.
time. Bring it back one time.
Selfless.
So when you are engaging in this for some cruel world, I want y'all to be more considerate of what you do with your time. And be comfortable. Be comfortable.
Can't pour from an empty cup.
You can't pour from an empty
That's
cup.
why I said
Ain't
selfless.
no juice
No
in
way
a
to take care of
goddamn.
anybody else.
Can't get blood out of turnip.
You can't get blood out of beet or a turnip.
Can't get water from a rock. Sorry, I had to throw something.
Got to. Got to one of them old school
Listen.
things.
Listen.
That was disrespectful. I got it. It's fine.
Is it
I'm
safe?
just glad to.
Oh,
I was
good.
just glad to have
Hey,
something.
bottle
That's
cap
all.
chop.
That's all.
So, so full, can't pour from an empty cup. Yep. What is in your cup is for you.
Unless you got kids, then they drink it.
Hey,
Or unless you choose to share it, just know that you're not required to. That it's not an obligation. It's you can't give if you don't have, and people shouldn't be entitled to what you have to offer just because they want it.
Hey, yo.
yeah.
And I'm going to say it like this. When we talked about a few episodes ago about the Chris Bear initiative or the Chris Bear movement, either one you want to take it by, in order to reach that ascent to the air, where's Chris, you must learn first how to take care of you. You can't take care of you without taking the time to invest in what takes care of you. You don't learn how to take care of yourself by reading the cliff notes on you.
That's a touchy one though, because sometimes in your world you have people that also take care of you, but that doesn't mean that you should have to forego your self-care
Your time.
and time. That's what that really comes down to, because what are you going to do with that time? You're going to invest it in the betterment of the self. I don't give a shit if it's investing in stocks and bonds or taking a nap. The reality is you are using that time to take care of yourself. And there are people that genuinely support you and love you and believe in you taking time in self-care. That's the reality. And if they don't, then their motivation is probably selfish and needs to be considered as something that you got to fucking fall back from. Because the truth of the matter is that people that genuinely care about you will never discourage you from taking care of you when you need to take care of you. Now, I, on the other hand, am the type of person that I like to take care of myself by taking care of other people. Not necessarily my kid all the time, not necessarily one particular dude all the time. Sometimes my friends, like, we get together. Somebody bring the drink, somebody bring the smoke, somebody cook the meal, and we take care of one another. That's also taking time for me. But I should not be considered selfish just because I choose to fall back from, what it is that.
Pager blowing up. Keep going.
Sorry, my bad. But I should not be considered selfish because someone else feels entitled to something I have to offer because I've offered it before, or because they desire it or want it, whatever it is. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take time for yourself. You have to do it in order to be able to help other people. It's a reality. And anybody who don't support that can kick fucking rocks.
You have to take time for yourself.
Yep.
You have to.
Yep.
It is imperative.
Yep. Necessary to survival and shit.
Before you can mean anything to anybody else. And I know what you're saying about people investing into you. I thank you. I will put the pin in you and I will come back to you. But before I can accept you're taking care of me, I must first know unequivocally what I need.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I feel you. I love you, but stay there. I gotta go. You have to take a long, hard look at you to say what I need, what I want, what I love,
mm-hmm.
before you can accept it from anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So when I tell you, you have to put the time into you first. You're shaking your head no?
That's not. I think there's a misconstruence from what it is that I'm saying. I just don't think you're getting where it is I'm coming from.
I
accurately reinstate it.
I'm going to accurately reinstate it by saying exactly what it is that I mean, which is what I did before. Just because you feel like you have to do a solo dolo mission in order to be prepared for the next step of whatever, that's not how everyone in the universe functions.
Mm-hmm.
Some people by design, you see, there's two of you and you. We're not even gonna go into that sunshine shit. But some people by design, the scales. I require counterbalance. I
Mm-hmm.
require it in order to be my happiest, healthiest, most content self. And
Okay.
therefore, sometimes the taking time for me is investing in others. It's because I know myself, not in spite of the fact of knowing myself or not before I know myself. What makes me happy is oftentimes to make other people happy. That's just who I am by design. So my requirement for taking time for the self may not be the same as yours, may not be the same as his. And far be it from me to try to dictate how someone else needs to choose to function in their selfish time taking. Some people might need to invest in other people in that time. That
But
might be what
here's
they
my
need.
thing.
Mhm.
You gave your perspective and I gave mine.
Mhm.
So it's no different. We're both offering advice to taking what you need. Everybody can give you advice.
Mm.
All advice isn't good advice.
Truth.
But you can take something from everybody and apply it to what makes you you.
Mhm.
Some of the things that I took are not the Gemini way. You're going to quit talking bad on my sign. I love myself. Well, you know I was a Gemini. Dope, it's 2 of them. Stop it.
Is that the gavel?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I am the moderator.
He over here feeling.
I am the
You know what
moderator.
Gemini's is
because
awesome.
because I have to. Yeah, right. We go actually when our next shows before we hit 90, we're going to go back to astrology. So what if your and this question is posed to both of you. What if your boo, significant other, wife, etc., is very demanding of your time? How do you keep the peace? One being a giver, or one being a person that gives their time to recharge their time, and then one being a person who needs individual solo time to be defined as their time. How do you two interact with others that request or feel the word I'm looking for means they deserve it? Feel blah 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 of your time. How do you handle those situations? Nobody wants to go first. So you guys talk over each other, and now it was just fucking stalemate.
I have no problem going first. He extended the hand of go first.
So you have a friend that is highly demanding of your time.
Okay.
And you don't feel like giving him none. And his feelings are hurt. What do you do? Ed.
Thank you. Yeah, you sure you don't want to grab that one?
You have a lady friend that's highly demanding of your time.
Move on.
And you need a recharge.
I explain where I am.
Communication.
And that's where the transparency comes in. I explain to where I am. And this is what I need of me right now to be a better me for us. And if she respects that of y'all's relationship and the building of a y'all, she'll give you time to work on you. And she'll get her ego out of...
Hold on, let her finish.
Wait a minute.
I ain't said nothing. I just growled, and y'all just can't. I can't get y'all together. I'm gonna have to look y'all up.
We're definitely together.
I'm gonna have to look y'all up.
That's not what's happening. I want to hear what he has to say.
And if you
that communication thing is key. I really appreciate that
if you
that out there
don't
first.
Understand that, then there's no future in us.
And that is where my sentiment of move on came from, because when you're talking about someone who's being demanding of your time, my assumption is that you've already come to a level of communicating who you are as people and what you need and what you desire. And so this is not a situation of you know, if somebody feels like they can be entitled to your time, one of two things is happening. Either they've already vested a lot in you and therefore feel that that's the reason that they're entitled to your time, or they're batshit crazy and you should probably not entertain that. If you haven't vested a lot of time and interest in this person or them in you, it doesn't make sense that they would feel entitled to your time. So yes, communication is key, particularly if it is with someone that you have already established some sort of connection with. It doesn't make sense for them to be demanding of your time otherwise, because if that's the case, you tell her kick rocks. or you tell him kick rocks.
Because they get time spoiled.
What's that?
They're time spoiled because they're used to it. They're used.
Really?
Well, when it's an invested part,
Yes.
we have to
Yes.
think about this
Yes.
because to
Well,
get to
yes.
that point of our lives, we have to go through the newness. We have to go through all the honeymoon
Right.
stages.
Right.
We're not used to the
Well, but
bridge.
there are actual relationships that maintain that sort of timeness as well.
Hmm.
Once again, everyone's experience is going to be kind of different.
Absolutely.
But my hope is that if someone is expressing to you that they feel entitled to your time and they're upset because they're not getting it, it's because you've established that. If you haven't established that with that person and they tripping about your time, they probably got some issue. You should probably
But
avoid that.
once you become vested in,
Communication is key.
you have to say, look,
See, we together on that.
yeah, you have to.
Communication is key. It's
Transparency
key.
and communication.
Transparency is something so different. We have this is like on the next topic, yo, because I am having such tragedy in my life with regards to the notion of open honesty. And open honesty used to be something that I insisted on in relationships, only to find you cannot make someone be open or honest. You just gotta establish for yourself what it is you're
One,
gonna.
both, neither.
Neither in most cases.
Oh.
Neither in most cases. And so openness for me, even in this day and age, is not a necessity because I don't necessarily want to know every damn thing. I really don't. But if I ask you a question, what I expect is honest communication as a result of the question. I don't think it's fair for you to bullshit me when I'm asking you a question. I need honesty. That's that. And I know that there are some situations where it's like, ask me no question, I'll tell you no lies. And I just find that to be some bullshit. But at the end of the day, that communication is the transparency is something completely different than communication.
I feel that because before, like you said, I don't want to know. I don't need to know everything. Please.
Listen, please, holy hell, keep something to yourself. It's okay.
But when it comes to us,
We coming to the chat line. Keep it coming. We coming. I'm gonna read them. Hold on.
but when it comes to us, transparency. When it comes to us, I need that honesty. Because
honesty and transparency aren't the same thing, though.
they're not. They're not. But
Is that gender specific?
I'm not going to give you the ability. I'm not going to make you guess. I'm not going to make you go through the Legend of Zelda. I'm not going to make you hunt for the.
Or flat out lie to you and later come to you with the truth.
We're not going. You're not going to get a subliminal.
Say to me today that they lied to me prior because they've learned that in their dealing with women, honesty of that nature is typically not conducive to continuing things.
Well, here's the problem.
My question to that was,
don't burden you with what women have done, burden you with what you would do.
This is what I said. I said, contextually speaking, has it been a better experience for you for women to find out later on that you've been lying? Because once you lie and I find out the truth, I have to reconcile both the truth and the lie.
Hold on. Because this is getting juicy. It's okay to be selfish, to take care of you, but you have to communicate that, express that, but you can't say, I'm going to be there for you, and then something better comes along and you drop them with no word. If a person is demanding your time, does it mean that they are lacking, or was there inconsistency in the relationship? What is the breakdown? We'll do a breakdown here soon. Communication and comprehension. We got some so truths, and some of us just stuck in our ways. Do we pick up from there, or do we do we continue on?
First things first, and this is what we have to learn how to quit doing in our relationships, our dealings with people. Quit judging people on your past experiences. Because if this person is something like your past, then that means you haven't changed enough in yourself to fall out of those same old routines.
Too close?
No.
No, I'm talking about the mic.
I knew what you were talking about. No.
Feedback.
You guys.
The feedback, yeah.
You have the air of caution, of course, but if you keep approaching people the way you approached the last person, you are going to get the same, and I do mean the same results. You can't go into relationship double A, the way you did into the first A, because you're going to keep failing. History keeps repeating itself.
But if women go into those relationships or men go into those relationships based on the past relationship, don't you think that on some level, on any level at all, that they are probably trying to do something differently when they encounter their next relationship, I almost feel like that takes out of the equation the possibility and or probability, once you've had certain circumstances happen to you over and over and over again, regardless of your approach to it, that it's kind of like the city girls, hot boys thing that you were talking about. People have been conditioned to react and respond in certain ways, to do things in certain ways. To encounter a liar is sadly for me much more common in this day and age than I ever imagined it would be, now that I've reached my fucking 40s, yo. It's crazy because I see the same behaviors in guys that are 20 years old as guys that are 50 years old.
True.
Has your approach changed from
If it
episode
had
1 to episode 10 though?
if it had not changed, I probably would be at the house boning right now. But I digress. Of course it's changed. Of course it's changed. I'm not nearly as accessible as I once was because of the circumstances that I've had. Don't flip that into thinking that I've had so many negative circumstances that I can't get with it. I had one really amazing positive one, and a standard was set. And so getting into relationships beyond a man who says, "Oh, you want a new car? We'll go get you a new car." You want somebody to love you for life and treat you like a queen? I got you. You want somebody that you can trust to make a child with? Let's do that.
But you catching
Amsterdam,
the same fish, right?
Amsterdam for the hut. That cat lied the whole 3.5 years we were dating before we got married.
So why are you catching the same fish?
Because I didn't find out until 8 months after we got married.
That's
because
him.
I didn't find out until 8 months after. Because I didn't find out until somebody decided they finally wanted to be in an honest situation of communication. Lying is some shit that I encounter across the board. It don't make no difference what I do differently. I can't change the notion that. And I'm not talking about they're all liars. But every last man that I have dealt with in the last decade and a half of my life has lied to manipulate me into an environment and a circumstance where they were comfortable enough to finally tell the truth, but I was too comfortable to break away from it once I learned it.
Got some questions.
Hold on. I got some apologies for that.
They apologize too.
And then I got questions. Hit it.
But no, like, cause
it doesn't stop me from getting
Order in the court.
oh,
We
God.
got questions and apologies.
I
Let's
just-
do
I
one
just-
at a time.
I just want to finish.
Go.
Never mind. I'm done.
I got questions. And
Okay.
then no, because we still want you. You need to get in.
I do want to.
I do want to probe because there's an issue if the same fish are being caught, but the bait has changed. I have an issue with that.
Me too.
I have an issue with that. All right, that's kind of like the same question that I'm asking right now. The question on the line is, what has she done differently if she encounters the same liars each time?
Please. I've done everything that I was told to do. Wait 90 days to fuck. Don't wait 90 days to fuck.
Wait. Say it
I've,
again.
I've purified myself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka out this motherfucker. I have been quiet. I have whipped my own back. I have begged for dominion at
But hold
his
on.
feet.
But wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
I-
But didn't mean you just say something earlier when we were talking before we even got over here about not doing what they do?
What I said to you was sometimes you do have to do what they do. You just have to do it better. That was what I said.
And then I said
because I live in a society. I live in a society where real quick, just a real quick question: how does racism in the United States affect you? Deeply, like intensely to your soul, the core of who it is you are and define yourself as.
Yes.
How does sexism affect you in the United States of America? Personally,
the same.
Personally, impacts you maybe, but not affects you because sexist behaviors are not being exercised on you. I am just like racism. The stance that we take with racism is that the reversal cannot genuinely take place because the people in power are the ones that can exercise it. And all I'm saying to you is out of genuine respect for the fact that I'm not just black standing in front of you, but I'm also a black woman. I sit in a very specific place in this society, whether I desire to or not. I have to claw my way out of it. And just like a white person can't turn to you as a black man and say, you just need to pull your bootstraps and say, fuck it, and forget all that stuff ever happened to you. Try and understand that the perspective I'm coming from is one that is rooted both in my blackness and my womanness. And socially speaking, I sit at the bottom of the totem pole, carrying the weight of all society on my shoulders, based solely on two facts: black and female. And no one I know has more issue with that challenge than black men. And what I'm saying to you right now is I can do things differently a million times over. I can make myself the most subjected, the most subjugated, the most humbled, the most humiliated, the most beautiful. My countenance in and of itself is never going to be enough. Now, I'm not dumb enough to believe the fact that I have a, pussy makes me the most powerful creation in the world. I'm not beating my own back anymore. And as far as doing things differently to get different results, you're not going to get different results if you continue to fish in the same fucking lake. If trout and tilapia is all that there is in that lake, that's what's there. And I don't necessarily find it fortunate that I haven't encountered someone who felt like transparent communication wasn't the way to go. But I guarantee you, every last one of them said it was.
All right, so where the walleye lake at?
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm done. I have to be done for the sake of wow. I would love to sit and just have a conversation with you.
We should.
Because while I respect your views, some of them you're in the dark about.
Some of them you don't agree with. But the reality is that I have, and that's another thing, I have literally spent the last decade and a half of my life training myself in this shit academically. Mm-hmm. I've also been living it because I'm a black woman. And at the end of the day, to have anyone tell me that I'm in the dark about my blackness or my womanness, I could be offended.
Back to specifics.
But I won't bother. I'm not in the dark.
Not about your blackness or your womanness.
About my experience, about the experience.
We're extending order in the court. We're extending that we need to still get into honesty.
Women never see us men, and will never invite. Right.
Come on, read them out. That's what I was about to do.
At 40, all liars. Men at 40 are the same as men in their 20s. I understand her point, but I also don't think the mindset will negate racism or sexism. Just my opinion. Mixed ethnicity. Right, at Flex. But she didn't answer the question. What lake should we go to, sis? I know that's right, Soraya. Honey, if I had the answer to that, I would be there and I'd be fishing. That's the honesty of it. I don't desire to be single. I don't desire to be alone. I'm raising a 6-year-old child with medical and developmental needs. His father is amazing. He's one of my best friends. Right. He is one of my closest confidants, and he is an amazing father. And I'm not even supposed to have to fucking say that. He has a child. He's supposed to be an amazing father. But that right there is an example. When a man does what he's supposed to do as a father, we call him an amazing father. Oh. When a woman does what she's supposed to do. Oh, shit.
How much time we got?
When a woman does what she's supposed to do, show. She's just being a mother.
Oh,
and at the end, my circumstances.
Order in the court.
Order
in the court.
Let me finish.
No, hold on.
So at the end of the day,
hold on.
I don't know which lake. Hold on. I don't know which ocean to go in.
Where the buzzer at?
What I meet is a level of resistance when I express what my experience has been. It's not just my experience. It's an experience that happens very largely, statistically speaking, and that's from the academic perspective. And then I happen to be friends, close friends, and confidants, and fucking acquaintances with lots of different women from different cultures, different ethnicities, different societies even.
That doesn't validate your point.
It doesn't need to validation is for parking, sweetheart.
But why you add it then?
I'm adding it as a point to my experience, Damian, which doesn't seem to matter.
And she used your government.
I'm using it as a point to my experience.
It's Steven down here.
Listen, I beg your pardon, Steven. If he hadn't yelled about it, wouldn't nobody have noticed it. But hey, it's my fault. I did that. All I mean is my experience matters. And my experience is rooted in several different fundamental fucking foundations. It's not just me touting my opinion. It's me touting an opinion that is rooted in statistical fact and experiential fact, not just from myself, but from many other women and men included. I have encountered men who recognize that this is a truth, even if they only recognize it in their heads and not in their day to day living and
But
actions.
those facts
You have a
haven't come
daughter,
with a
yo.
solution
It's like
tonight. I don't have any children. I'm Steven, ma'am.
you want to.
Steven is the man of leisure. He smokes
I
junks and
said
has
if you have a
leisure.
daughter, that's what I said,
No,
Steven.
there's no children down here.
Clearly, right? I'm the only one who's putting it out there that I have a child that has to grow up in a society that's going to make choices about what type of man he's going to be, how he's going to treat women and himself or men, if that's who he chooses to love. And what I would prefer to pass on to him is the notion that unfortunately we're beat with challenges from the giddy up. It's just how our society is designed. I desire nothing more than and have fought for nothing more than for that to change. Progress, growth, not a fucking recession into girls and boys on the internet doing highly overtly sexual activities that in our day and age would have been considered pornographic, illegal, and not acceptable. But I don't know where to go fishing for somebody who's going to just be honest. I've tried and then I've not tried. In a personal conversation, I expressed to you that I've done it all. Fucking celibacy, the shit's bed, all that shit. I've done it all. None of it has landed me a gentleman who, at the very least, isn't lying about something significant very early on in order to protect his own interests. And when they've come to the truth, they've often stated coming to the truth
Ass.
because they didn't want to tell me early on, thinking it would prevent them from being able to move forward with me.
That's it.
Isn't it sad? I don't. I love
Let's
that
see.
you
Let's
agree
see
to
the
this.
comments, Ed, and then
And then we're getting
you
off
get
of
the
here
floor.
because
Ed's getting the floor. He done got him a drink poured.
Wow. Wow.
Where do you start?
Is it on me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my shot first.
do you mind if I have some of the Jim Beam?
No,
Peach?
have some of the gym
Steven, would you like to
'Cause
have
we're-
some
we're-
of
we're-
the Jim Beam?
A halfer.
because we have to wrap. This is almost an hour and a half. Shot.
Yes.
But people are still here, aren't they?
8.
They are. Here's my thing. Shot first. That was for me. First off, I'm sorry of the experiences that you have gone through. I'm not like every man to apologize to you to get some game. My apologies to you will be sincere because it is sad at the age of where we are that you had to go through a game and you continuously have to play Nintendo, Sega, or Atari to get to where you are in life. No, I will never know what it's like to be a black woman in corporate America or in America, period. I can't. I can't fathom the pain, the anguish, and the unjust that you go through every day of wearing a crown that has been the cradle of society since the beginning of time. I can't. It's not in me. But somebody has had to be in y'all's protector, and that is a black man.
That's what's up.
And because we protect the cradle of civilization, the holder of the universe, we have been made out to be the bad guy. We are the over sexualization on the workplace. Watch out for him, girl. All he want to do is fuck everybody. When you're going through about a celibacy on your own. Girl, only thing he want to do is fuck you and leave you. You don't think that's a version? Okay. Or you outperform, you outshow, you outshine your counterparts, but you can't get it because you say that your black is beautiful. Because when Kaepernick took a knee and you decided to stand up and say, I won't watch your NFL because I believe in what that young man is saying, you're wrong. How could you do that to America's game? But it's since, as we say on the show, since 2009, it's only been become law to come out into the field for these acts of patriotism that you get paid to display. When you stand up for every black child that's been shot dead in these streets for being nothing but in a hoodie buying Skittles and fruit juices, walking home selling Lucy cigarettes or DVDs, you are looked at as radical, unapproachable. Honey, I get it, and I feel your struggle. And you know what? It's sad. You're right that I got to get called an amazing dad for doing my job. I am a fucking father. Don't call me amazing. Don't call me great. But here's another thing on that flip token. Don't treat me like I'm a leper because I'm a father.
Amen to that.
Quit treating us like we're a prized possession because we're dads. I had a lawyer, a divorce lawyer, because I went through one of those too.
Yeah, me too.
And she told me, you chose to put your raw penis in that woman and make a baby. The same way y'all accepted those penises. Because at the time, excuse me, that lie was the best lie being told to you to move forward in your life. We all get Georgia, we all get snowed in, we all get played. But whew, I had to take another drink here. Because I wasn't in my feelings. But we all come from the same tree, the same fruit.
That's what white people say to us all the time.
No, honey.
We're all human.
No, we're not all human. Some of us are superhuman. I know I am.
Okay.
Us, we all come from the same tree, same struggles. And I hate to use the word, we all still niggas at the end of the day. Because that's what they going to look at his ass no matter what. People
Here's
do.
the crazy thing, though. It's almost like you're dismissing the notion that men have a superior position to women in this society.
We don't. Well, we don't. Because no matter.
Let me ask you this question. Who would they make president first? A black man or a white woman?
A black man.
Right. That in and of itself needs to speak volumes, especially to black people. Because when black men believe that they don't hold that position of power over black women, like their manness gets diminished by their race, take the notion that none of us could see a thing. Like we literally could not lay eyes on one another. We would have absolutely positively no clue what race, creed, color, ethnicity anybody was. And yet somehow, some way, we would all have to figure out the difference between men and women in order to propagate the fucking species.
What's the greatest detriment? Being a black man or being a black woman?
Neither
no. Bad question. Race or gender, as it pertains to black people?
To me,
what's the biggest
because
detriment?
I am a black woman, I am going to, and I was literally just answering that. I'm going to say gender. Because gender disparity is going to exist regardless of race, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of color, regardless of creed. Gender disparity runs rampant in the entire world, whereas racism doesn't. Gender disparity
I'm
was
always
not
going to
created.
say. I'm always going to say gender.
As gender disparity is created simply by people being who they are. Race was by design. And by design in this country, black and white did not exist until the Bacon's Rebellion in this country. And that was to stop us from focusing on what was really to be focused on, which is rich and poor. Because as long as you got money, you can have a vagina. You can be a black man. All of those things work. As long as you got dough. But it's very important for black men to understand that their manness is not exonerated or lost because of their blackness.
But can I finish my point?
Absolutely, sure.
Okay. When it comes to getting the same results, honey, I got them too. I did. I got some terrible results. I changed my appearance, my state of mind, my approach. I changed everything that I thought I was supposed to change. Mm-hmm. And while the packages were all different, the model number was all different, it was the same old product. Mm-hmm. Until I did something true. and this is for me.
Mhm.
I can't say this is what will work for you. I had to change my model number.
Mhm.
I had to change my product.
Okay.
Truly, not what they said,
Mhm.
but that look in the mirror that I had to give to myself. And instead of patting myself on the back and telling myself how awesome I am, I really had to talk about how fucked up I was. I had to talk about all those problems that I had,
Mhm.
those issues, those mental health issues,
Mhm.
those drinking issues,
Mhm.
those this, that, and the third issues.
Mhm.
And then I had to talk to myself about how do you change those? How do you fix you? Because if you don't fix you, you can't fix nobody else.
I
And
don't think we need to be fixed. I think
we definitely need to be fixed.
I posted something on Facebook about that just the other day. I don't. I think we need the freedom to be who the fuck we are,
Hold on, now wait a
and
minute,
let's
wait
be
a
the
minute,
best we that we
wait a
can be.
minute, wait a minute. No, listen to what you just said.
Hmm.
And being dismissive to what I just said to you. You posted something on Facebook that says we need to not be fixed and be the best we that we can
We don't
be.
need to be fixed. We need to be free.
Okay. So by learning what broke me down in my past and in my present and how to move forward, doesn't allow me to be free.
I just don't see that the same as being fixed. I think that we are inherently taught to believe that we are flawed, that there is something wrong with us, that we need to be tinkered with or changed, or that we are not
But
designed in God's
ho-
image and created
but
by his own
hold
fucking
on.
vision. At
And
the
I
end of the
feel
day,
I hold on.
I just, you asked me a question and I'm trying to answer it.
And you're
And
mm,
moreover, it came on the heels of you suggesting that until you focused on all of the things that were fucked up about you,
mm-hmm.
and at the end of the day, if that's the perspective that you needed in order to be the best you that you could be, I'm not negating that. My stance is simply one that part of that is a process of genuinely respecting your value.
Mm,
You're not living up to your own potential.
mm,
The ability to be a better motherfucking you than you ever thought you could be doesn't require for you to tear yourself up for being flawed. It just requires for you to respect that you're not being your best self. So for me, instead of looking at it from the perspective of I need to fix myself, what I need to do is respect the best parts of me and then be that shit.
mm,
I am a gift.
mm.
I am a blessing, a creation in God's own divine design. Nothing is wrong with me. But if I choose to be less than who it is I am as a person, I don't deserve to feel better.
Okay,
I
but
gotta
now hold
bust
on.
my ass to be the best me that I
Okay,
can
now
be. Part
hold
of
on.
that is accepting who
I
the
hear
fuck
you.
it is I
Switch,
am.
I hear
switch.
you. I hear you. But here's what I never said that I didn't value my self worth.
I didn't say you
Hold
didn't.
on now, hold on. I gave you the floor. But what I said is I recognized in me what needed to be changed and to
Okay.
be fixed.
Okay.
To be the bad motherfucker that I know that I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I took the time to do that.
Mm-hmm. The
Not
ability to respect the bad, fucked up part of you is completely rooted in understanding there's a better part of you.
you have to fix what's going on in you sometimes.
That
Some
I agree with.
and that's what this is.
That I
What
agree
was
with.
going on with inside of me needed to be fixed.
That I agree with.
And it was fixed.
Good.
And what people don't do is they skim over.
Yeah, they
They
don't want
put
to
the
focus
makeup
on that
up.
shit. That
And
shit
and
hurt.
this is what I'm trying to get across of. You have to look at yourself as a whole in totality
Yes.
and fix it all. I'm not saying change, because I didn't change a thing about me. But I fixed the parts that needed to be fixed, the healing that needed to happen, the things that I needed to progress.
You fix a car, you heal a heart. There's a difference. And as far as I'm concerned,
But no, because my knee was fucked up. I needed to fix that.
you know what? That's
So
different. You didn't
no,
fix it.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying,
You
girl,
some
girl.
some some
Hold on
doctor
now.
did that shit.
Hold
Right.
on, boo. Hold on now.
And
Hold
once they
up.
fixed it,
Hold yourself.
you
Hold
had to
yourself.
heal it.
And
Hold on.
we learn or bad shit is put on us that needs to be fixed.
I'm not
And
suggesting that things don't need to be fixed. I'm not suggesting that, I agree with that. I agreed with it when he said it.
Okay.
But my stance is about people and how the connotation of needing to be fixed is very much attached to the connotation of being inherently flawed. When the truth of the matter is, both of those sit under the fact that you are an amazing human
But
being.
that's not
It
what I'm
ain't
And
saying.
inherent though. Like
I
usually, you
didn't even
pick up
finish my
bad
point.
habits like drinking. You pick up.
If you're talking about drinking, then
Not
yes.
don't get specific
You
on me
did.
now.
You did. I
I
didn't do
use it
that.
as an example as things
But I
that
can give you 5
I'm
examples
gonna
that don't
put my
have
point
anything
back
to
in my
do with
pocket,
drinking.
so
and the
I'm sorry,
point
we
been
still didn't
made.
make it there.
we're not born perfect.
I'm just gonna
Of
put it in
course,
my pocket
no
and
one's
keep.
suggesting that we're born. Oh my gosh.
So as you live through life, you pick up fucked up shit that needs to be fixed if you want to be a better you.
If you say so.
So
Picking up
don't
fucked up
fix them.
shit, fixing fucked up shit is not the same as fixing people. That's all I'm saying.
But what are
That's
you
it.
fixing?
Fucked up shit.
That is inside a person or that a person
That doesn't
does.
make that person that person. I've had a lot of fucked up shit, like being sexually abused, being assaulted sexually. Like those are things that have happened to me in my life, and they're fucked up, and I had to fix them. You understand what I'm saying?
You
Thank
saying
you.
this?
Hold on, can I finish? That has nothing to do with who it is that I am. I'm still me, beautiful, not tragically flawed. I'm a human being. I'm a whole human
Right.
being. And the things that have happened to me, the circumstances and the idiosyncrasies of my experiences don't make the whole of me. So if something that took place in my life or exists in my life needs to be fixed, that's not the same as fixing myself. I am fixing those things so I can heal, perhaps, but I'm only wanting or desiring even to heal because of how fucking amazing I am. Because people who choose not to live up to their best selves don't give a fuck about fixing anything or healing it. There are people who choose to be fucked up out here. It happens. It's a real thing. And
Them
ultimately,
comments is crazy. Yeah.
it's a shame because this woman seems really cool and well-meaning, but she cannot empathize with any point but her own.
Read them all.
I'm
Read them
sorry.
all. Read them
Look,
all.
no
Read them
offense.
all. Just going
What's the
down.
point? No offense or shade. Just stating facts. Flex, I understand that that's your
And you
perspective,
didn't
but
read them all. Get to
the
the
lady
bottom.
sounds just like Nova on Queen Sugar. They keep getting off topic. I'm so lost right now. Anyone in the chat watch Queen Sugar? Okay, well, if Queen Sugar is the focus, then example of the vibe episode, fam.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I read them all. So was there
I'm,
something I was missing?
I'm going to finish my
I,
point. I'm going. Fuck this. It's my show. I'm gonna finish my point. I said what I say. Ain't that what we say? And then it's over. And then
in closing,
um
12:41.
you gotta fix yourself. You have to
8 o'clock is
and you don't
calling.
like the word fix. I understand that. But you have to deal with what you are going through to be a better you. And once you become a better you, you understand that the things that you once accepted and once dealt in, you'll no longer accept and deal in. I swam in the same pond. I was the king. I was as Ice Cube once said in the song "Bow Down," big fish in the small pond. That was me. I ran that shit. But I also learned that when you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So as being the biggest fish in the pond, I needed to get my ass out the pond and go somewhere else and start swimming, where I became minuscule, where I became small. And that's where I am now. And that's why my life is the way that I feel it is. Um, we have to get uncomfortable with what we become comfortable in. And that's what a lot of people don't do when it comes to this time thing that Mr. Royals stated. They don't want to get uncomfortable because then they have to focus on themselves. Excuse me, they have to focus on their own flaws. My having flaws is fine. I love my flaws. I love every last one of them. I embrace them. But, there is a but. If you walk this earth thinking that you don't need to be fixed and you don't need to readjust yourself every few years, you are sadly mistaken. We all must. Because if you don't, you get caught up in the rut of going through the same old shit. And I don't know about you, but the shit I've been through, I ain't trying to go back. So whatever it takes me to keep readjusting, to keep changing, to keep this level of happiness and crisp air that I breathe, I would do that by any means necessary.
I agree. And I really love that none of the words you just said were fixing yourself. because that's the only part that I was, taking issue with. I think that adjusting is necessary, readjusting is necessary, loving oneself enough to respect the ways in which you're not being your best self, all of that shit. Mad necessary. But what I respect as a creation of my universe is that I'm not fucked up. And the only way that I can prove that I'm not fucked up to myself on a daily basis is by trying to be the best me that I can be.
Yeah, you can read because they tripping.
Stephen Dot, man of leisure, with the deep voice, will close this thing out.
I can't.
One more time for your mind. Order in the court.
Say words, sir. We're going home.
I would like to say that episode 80 was exactly what we planned it to be. Unplanned. Unplanned and 2 hours long.
God, I'm so sleepy.
We here for y'all. We have never had 8 people, including Flex from the UK, who's a first-time listener who just dropped in talking about I'm from the UK, it's 6 a.m. I'm looking at podcasts and dropped in on this diamond.
Hey man, hey, follow us, bro.
What do 6
Bippy
a.m.
and
look
bullshit. We do this every Sunday.
What's
we
up,
from
Flex?
Ohio, Flex. Salute on, bro. That's what's good.
We've never
We
had
love it.
this many people in the chat. It's been a very interactive ass show.
Big
Good,
Thank you for
bad,
having me along.
happy or sad.
Subscribed. I'll do it again.
It sounds like Natural gonna make a way back. Y'all want to join her?
Look at his face.
No, honey, I'm always up for smoke.
Listen,
This what? Hey, I'm the Shannon Sharp of this shit.
listen.
I'm up for all smoke, all
He was
debate.
like,
But hold on, here's my question to you though. You sit here and say that, but what moment did I back down?
Okay.
Did I cower and I say,
Shout
I
out,
made it?
shout out
That's
to
what we're supposed
Saria
to do.
James. Shout out to Taka Collins. Shout out to Lamar.
it's Takia Collins, Saria James, or Soraya James.
She
Flex.
fucking y'all
yes.
names up.
Not me. He said Taka Collins.
That's her name. What do you mean?
It says Takia.
Ninja, I know her.
And it's Taka. I'm sorry. I was
Back to the order in the court.
pronouncing it how I
Order in the court.
Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we do it?
Yeah.
Taka Collins.
Well, as always, I am Mr. Emo.
And I'm Steve Darrell, man of leisure.
Man, this been Bippy and bullshit, man. We gonna catch y'all on the flip side. And we will see y'all next week.
Monday.
Peace.
A friend of mine.
I'm not
Tuesday,
going with
we
20
played a game. Wednesday, we went away. Thursday,
I'm not participating.
things weren't the same on Friday. You came back. I wanted
I want
to
to finish my shot.
kiss you on Saturday, but Sunday we made love. Now what are we gonna do?
End the fucking show. The fuck? You gonna start and finish with a song? Boy, terrible. Terrible.
We battered Mary J.
Yes, they did.
Fuck.
They did. It was god doggone terrible. The flying fist naive. But as always, man, thank y'all for being a part of 80. We appreciate y'all. We celebrate y'all. And we're going to catch y'all next week.
In the cube
Peace.
in 7 hours. Hungry.
I'm about to have another drink.
I'm done.